Hi everyone, this is Salesforce Story and I'm going to demonstrate to you how I created a screen flow, and this is for creating cases and then assigning the cases to a queue. Okay, just so you know, we do have um, a flow for the creation of cases, and I believe um, I already have a video of the create cases in my YouTube channel. But just so to review, um, so this is my create contact and then the case. So we start with the screen and, and then the get records, and we're using the email for the object contact to check for a match. Okay, and so we are going to either update or create decision, and the label will be update the existing contact, and if there's a contact from find a match, which it's the null is not true, that means we found the contact, then we will update the contact. Otherwise, we will create a new one. So update the existing contact, we will assign the variable first from the contact from match, from that previous value, and then we will update the record essentially, and using all the fields and the IDs from the record collection that we gathered from this prior part of the flow. And then if there was no match, then we will create the records using all the values from that record that we created. And then we went on to the next screen where there is a category using a pick list from um, the case category. We had to create a resource for that. Um, and I think I already discussed this in a different YouTube video. Anyway, so we created case records from that, and basically we set, you know, separate resources. Since this is not a contact object, if you will remember, we created contact records from this part, and now we are creating a new case. So we're crossing over objects. That's why I use separate resources and literal values, because now we are on case instead of contact, and we essentially just assigned what field in the case are going to have the value that we created from the screen flow, right? So anyway, I'm not going to go into much detail on this because I already have a video about this, but just to kind of review that part. So now we have to assign the new cases to a corresponding flow. So this could have been a subflow, but I don't think it matters anyway. So before you can proceed with creating that, you have to have a queue. Okay. All right. But before I dive deeper into that, let us create a case. So bet first name, bet last name, bet first and last name at qh.net. Of course, we have to create fake, fake, and fake, whatever. Because if not, then YouTube might scrap this, completely take it out of my videos list. Um, and just so you know, these information here, I just grabbed them all from the real vet website. Anyway, so let us just say that I needed some prescriptions. Remember this, prescriptions. So let us just say um, metoprolol. Um, my blood pressure is still high even after 2 weeks of regularly taking my med. Maybe it's not effective. Doesn't seem effective. It does not seem effective. Okay, so we are going to submit that, and now supposedly we are done with creating the new case. So we will go to the all cases and just kind of refresh that page to see if we got that. So as you can see here, this was the subject that we just created to 623. And because of the category, case category in the flow, in the screen flow, the automatic owner is the corresponding queue, and there's no priority yet. So we are going to go to the queues, just so you know. The queues that I created for these for the screen flow are the home health and geriatric care, which have these people, users in that queue, and there is a medical equipment and prosthetics, which people are there, and prescriptions and medications, which I'm a part of. So if I, being Lori, if I open my own prescriptions and medications queues, um, if I was the user, I would have the prescriptions and medications pinned, right? So there it is. And now if I am the end user and this was assigned to me, then I will grab that in my list. Supposedly I should open the older one and review them right away. But in this case, because I'm demonstrating to you what I just created, I'm gonna go in there and determine that this is not that high of a priority. So now I can I I want to say that it's medium. Actually, it depends on the blood pressure, but since the patient did not think it was emergent, it's probably not that high. And then I can choose in progress. Now, let us just say that I did not choose a priority. Let's see what happens. Whether or not I changed the priority, I should have. I should have. So I changed that, but just want you to take note that the case owner changed now to myself instead of um, remaining as the name of the queue. So I have taken ownership of that. And if you go back to the cases still on this queue and refresh that, it is now going to be, oh, I guess it's no longer there because I took ownership. So my cases, and it's now here. All right. So it's assigned now to me. Now let's go to the flow. Um, so I made a record triggered flow, which the object is case, and it's when it is created from that screen flow. And I just do a fast field update since it's just gonna stay now in the case, right? And to assign that to a queue, I have to create all these paths. And when you are doing queues, let's say this, let's just Okay. So the research that you're gonna have to make is, where was that? Prescription medications, and then the ID. No, it wasn't that. Record case category. Okay. So we created, the condition was that the record that was made would have a case category that's equal to prescriptions. Okay. And then you do the same thing here. The categories home health and geriatric. So these are the pathways, right? So if you go to prescriptions and medications, then you get the records, and this is how you will assign that to a certain queue. So the queue will fall under group objects, and then for the conditions, you have to put in the developer name of the queue. So if you go here and look at home health, the developer name is there. Okay, so that's how you're going to assign those for the prescription and meds, and then make sure that the type is a queue. So yeah, there's several types of objects here, and this is in a very big org. So there's a lot of things that you will see if you try to just look at the drop down values. And okay, so now that we have kind of matched that to the prescription and medications, and then we will create, we will proceed with updating the records for that case. And just remember, these were already from the contact and the cases that were created in the other flow. So now we are just essentially fast updating the same case. Um, so we are going to use the case record that triggered the flow, and then we are going to replace the owner ID to, this is the name of the queue. Okay, so if we will delete that, we are going to actually, so from for prescription and medications, this is the group, and then you need to get the ID. So that's how you assign it to the right queue. So you're going to do the same thing with the home health. You get the developer name and type is queue, and you have to remember the object is not case, it's group. So that's how you assign to a certain queue. And then you change the field. You use the case record to trigger the flow, and you will be using the field for owner ID to that same queue name. Okay, and you do the same thing for the med equipment and prosthetic ID. Okay, so that's how it automatically assigns. I do have a different flow that changes the name of the owner. So um, instead of using the same flow to assign, change the owner to whoever was editing the record, I think I created a different flow for that, but that's not the that's not part of the topic that I'm discussing right now. My topic is how you assign the new cases to corresponding queues, the new cases that were created from the screen flow to the corresponding queues. Okay, so let's just say, okay, let's create another case. the last name, the first last name at gmail.com, and what and home health and geriatric, and we need nursing home referral. Um, I can't I can't stay safe at home. Always falling to the floor. I need placement to a nursing home. So that's for the home health and geriatric, right? So let us just try to log in as some other person. Um, in the queue, the home health and geriatric would have Joshua Smita. What if um, I log in as VHA agent test? Okay, so the VHA agent test would only supposedly would have his queue would be on the prescription. So we will go to the prescription. So my cases, these are the ones that he already accepted. When a case lands on a queue, the queue owns the case, but no actual person has taken ownership. Okay, so in this case, my I'm VHA agent test and I am part of this queue. So as you can see, was I supposed to have that? Oh, as you can see, there's nothing that was because the medication the I was the case that I created was for nursing home placement, so it's not in this, right? But if you go to you even from if you go to here, home health and geriatric care, then you don't even see it. Okay, but so I will log out as VHA agent test, and let's see. Um, Cues. So that was from home health and geriatric care. We will try to log in as Joshua. Okay, so we will log in as Joshua and check the queue. So as you can see, there is my case, my queue that contains all these cases, and this was the case that I just created. So if I'm still logged in as Joshua, and then um, I will see this and decide that the priority is medium, and I will start the process of helping the old lady be placed in a nursing home. Take note that right now the case owner is home health and geriatric care, but as soon as I edit this, then it changes to myself. And that was changing the owner to the user. I do have a different flow for that, but the focus of this video is to demonstrate how to assign a case that was created using the screen flow to a particular queue. Okay, so that was the purpose of the automation, assign it to a particular queue. All right, that concludes my demonstration.